Hello everyone, and welcome back to Total War 3 Kingdoms as Yuan Shao. So we're carrying straight off from our previous video and we're looking at pouncing on Liu over here in the Dai province. The problem with starting a war over here, however, is if we look at his diplomatic stances, he does have a couple of alliances. One of them is with Tao Chen, which could prove rather a bother, and he is also allied with Gongsun Du, who of course we do have more to our northeasterly territory, as you can see, which we didn't clear up previously, because we thought really it might actually not prove too much of a bother, but we'll see about that. He is also actually allied with Zhang Fang, who we're actually already at war with, and of course Dong Zhuo, who we're at war with anyway. We also have some deals going on with him. For 5 turns, we're actually trading some food with him for a minor amount of income. So we'll see if declaring war has a problem with our trustworthiness. It doesn't appear to be the case here. So I think we can go ahead and do that anyway. That will reduce our opinions with other people by quite a fair bit. But I don't think we need to worry about that too much. As long as Tao Chen, I think, doesn't join the war, we should be fine. But it should be a fairly quick war either way for us. I think we're going to go ahead and do it regardless. This will hurt our trustworthiness. Okay, so if we go back, cancel that, cancel this. I wonder if we can cancel this deal for any problems there. We can just wait another 5 turns, but I don't want to sit idly by with this in our way here. Yeah, that is still going to hurt our trustworthiness, which will hurt future diplomatic relations quite heavily there. So we are going to have to wait 5 more turns, unfortunately, to do that. That's not to worry too much either way. The problem really facing us is I want to take Yanmen over here, Yingwen, so it frees up the rest of our province over here, so we can actually use Fanzhou properly. And that will remove Zhang Fang and fulfill the mission to actually remove him completely. The problem with that is that there's quite an awkward route to get around over there. I'm pretty sure the easiest way is southwards, and that's going to take a number of turns. And I think Liu Dai is sending a couple armies to deal with him as well. So that is going to be a problem. We can't move at the moment because we're straight out of a battle. But that will give us full replenishment by the looks, which is very nice indeed. So we'll see what happens over there. I don't really want to go to war with Liu Bei over the one province because he is rather strong. He does have 2 stacks over here, and the stack he leads is extremely strong with Guan Yu and Zhang Fei in there with him. The actual units he leads are particularly strong in themselves. It is literally those hero characters. So what are we going to do? Well, we might as well look internally and look at increasing our wealth, I think. One good way to do that would actually be to just remove this captain over here. But if we look over here, we do have a fair garrison if we do manage to take Yingwen. So we're going to keep that for the minute, I think, our retinue. We can't convert this just yet because we need a small city. So we need to upgrade that when possible. But we're currently converting over here, so that's not too much of a problem. What about Bohai? We could upgrade the irrigated farms here for a little more peasantry income. That's not necessarily a bad idea at all. What have we got going in our true money-making areas, though? That's the question. Not really a lot, to be honest. Could upgrade to a mail post here. Yobei Ping's busy. Let's go to Liaoxi. And I think really we should upgrade the tool workshop or the mail post over here. What exactly is our income from here? Largely industry. So I think we boost that a little more here. That will pretty much run us down quite a bit though. I think we're going to go for it. Takes a while to get through anyway. And we're going to double check our characters are all happy, and they certainly are, which is excellent. So we're looking fairly stable actually. Let's get to the next turn. Okay, so a few events at the end of the turn there. Cao is at war with Liu Yao, interestingly. Let's see, family feud. So you and your brother, Yan Shu, have long been estranged. He belittles and resents your parentage, while you despise the way he treats people. Is it time to reconsider your relationship and try a new approach? That's rather interesting indeed, because Yuan Shu isn't particularly liked at the moment. But I think we might as well just increase our relationship, because why not? There's no downsides to it for us. That will help out with diplomacy later on. How are we with him at the moment? So that will quite help, actually. He's fairly powerful. More powerful than he usually is at this stage of the game, where he's reduced to pretty much nothing. We might even be able to... No, of course we can't vassalize him at the moment. That'd be too good for us, wouldn't it? We can't trade. How does he stand with other people though? So he is, of course, allied with Shao, so trading with Liu Dai. He's at war with a lot of other people. It's rather interesting, but I don't think we can do too much at the moment with that. So let's go back over, because it looks like Liu Bei is pulling out of the north over here. But who is this? This belongs to Liu Yu over here. That's not a problem. So I think really we're just going to force march Zhao Yun all the way over to... How long would it take to get over here? It'll take 3 turns from here. Roughly the same, to be honest, from here. Let's go from northwards then. If we can. Hopefully we can beat Liu Yu's army over here. But he is allied, remember. So we shall see. I'm not going to upgrade over here just yet. Really, I'm waiting to convert over here. We get an assignment over here to help things out. Maybe some more food or reserves, not necessarily needed. Corruption's not really a problem over here either. I think we're all good, to be honest, with that. Once again, another empty turn. I think we're going to skip ahead to when we do actually take on Yingwen. Interestingly enough, a couple turns later after I left you, Kong Rong has declared war on us, which is rather interesting indeed. Unfortunately, we can't call Liu Bei into an alliance against that, because he bloody loves Kong Rong, apparently. I'd imagine that's the case if we can get the mouse over. Yeah, so it's generally a terrible opinion of the idea. So that's a very useful coalition there, isn't it? So we're going to have to watch out for that. Gongsun Du would like a trade agreement. That's going to be worth nearly 600 gold. So it might as well. He's giving us a very tiny flat fee for that as well. And bribery gets me everywhere. So we're certainly going to take that into account, because it would be nice to have that little boost in income. Perhaps we can move that into some sort of military alliance as well later on. But Yuan Shu is hated so much by the Emperor now that everyone has been given the mission to destroy Yuan Shu. If we do that within 25 turns, we get a little bit of imperial favour. So it's not really worth doing that. It's very much out of the way of our territory. So there's quite a few characters actually available to recruit there. And that's rather interesting. What we're going to do is we are very close to going to Yingwen over here. Quite low on supplies though. If we can demand surrender here. No, that's not going to work, is it? That's absolutely fine. So the enemy is rather battered from, I imagine, low supplies themselves. And that will hurt their garrisons soon. This is going to be quite a large, horrible battle. Should be able to win that with Zhao Yun being how he is. So we're going to continue the siege there, but we will have to watch out for our military supplies, which will run out in a couple of turns by the looks of things. We also have the ability to go for a new reform. So let's see what we want. We're ever going forwards towards happiness and administrative positions, but the character salary for the moment is, I think, what to go for, because we've been working for quite some time towards that, haven't we? And that's helped our income a fair bit there. So we're going to have to postpone once again the war against Liu Yu over here and defend our southern territory against Kong Rong, who does apparently have a fairly sizable army. He does only have a few provinces, and if we can take that, that's actually quite a nice foothold over here, because we will have another commercial trading port over here, as well as some more livestock farms. So it's another money maker for us over there, if we could certainly hold on to our own territory. So we're going to have to force march down to Pinyin with both of our armies over here. That's really not a problem. I think we go over to the capital of Pinyin as well. It's going to take 3 turns, so we might end up losing a bit of territory to Kong Rong, who does have some fairly decent units. It does have a champion and a commander. Jun Yan does have, I believe, these are... He has the Fury of Bay High units, which are his unique crossbow units. I believe they're repeating crossbows, which are very nasty indeed. They will rip apart any unguarded and unshielded infantry. We're on the way to upgrading Zhongshan to a small city, which is very nice indeed. I don't know if I want to spend much more money this turn, but I will upgrade the workshops over here, because that's going to take some time. It's quite a nice investment to go for. However, our faction council is ready, so I think we're going to disregard that construction, so we have some money to spend on our council. What we can go for from Shunyu is a random ancillary or a random character added to our corps. It's very interesting indeed. I think we want, really, another character might be a decent idea. What else do we want over here? Yingwen, settlement supplies depleted would be quite decent actually. We don't necessarily need the growth or the public order at the moment. So I think we're going to go for supplies depleted, so that helps the attrition against the enemy there. This one though, because random ancillary could be quite minor. I don't want to end up with a stone pig or a clay ox perhaps. So I think we're going to go for another character, and that will drive our salary up once again. It will cost 1,000 to enact that. And so we shall see that over the next turn or so. And pretty much as expected, the Zhang Fang faction is in fact attacking us, breaking the siege. Should be fairly okay with their starting forces over here being quite battered. It is this garrison I'm more worried about. But once again, that's more bandit gangs, which aren't the greatest threats. And we're quite well experienced over here as well, so it should be okay. Just take a quick map view before we start. Yeah, quite open, bit of tree about, but we should all be good for that. Well, despite the enemy being the attackers, it looks like they want to retreat up to the top of their hill over there, which is rather smart of them. We was hoping to take advantage of our own hill, but we are going to have to charge them down. I think we're certainly going to go and try and get a duel with Zhao Yuan against one of their very few commanders, which we can certainly win against Dong Li over there. So if we initiate that, we'll certainly win that. Our men are coming up to the brow of the hill now. Are we going to win this charge here? We're going to dismount them. So, no, actually, that's rather interesting. But we do now have the Elemental Vigor passive, whereby the longer we stay in combat, the more melee damage and evasion we get. We're going to start off with the Flames of the Phoenix as well. There's no point in cutting out on that at all. And the enemy is trying to move against us. You can see our army is trying to get to the brow of the hill now. We might need to pull back a tad, because we're going to be right on top of the enemy very soon. If we just take the brow of the hill here, we're going to have to run up to that. We have actually won our duel. Looks like the enemy has retreated there very shamefully. We're going to allow Zhao Yuan to get mounted back up. There we go. So we can't unfortunately duel anyone else, of course. It looks like he's taking the enemy's attention there. Try and get into these archers, I think, for the minute. I'll keep an eye on him there. So I think we're going to have to just run in our spears and I guess a hard flank onto the enemy here. Let's run as quickly as we can with our axemen on both flanks there. Charge into the spears here, keep them busy. Focus the enemy axes here. They have gone into light loose formation there. Actually, if we manage to focus these already wavering bandit gang, we should all be good there. Alright, so let's get then our cavalry ready. Gets our cavalry on top of their archers there. It looks like Zhao Yuan's going to be fine. Once again, we are going to have this Elemental Vigor passive there. And that's actually keeping up some dangerous bandit warriors away from us. I don't know why the hell we've got to run into this. We do have ranged units as far as the flanks of this axe band. And we'll run in over here. I think we'll try and come around to help us our own swordsmen here. Get around to the flank here to get onto the enemy archers once again. Get some axe band over here. That should be good. I think we charge up over here to get some pressure onto the enemy's flank themselves and the centre. It's absolutely pummeling the enemy in the centre there. Yeah, we've just crushed that centre over there. We'll get rid of these archers here. Not too long for Flames of the Phoenix once again to really deal a massive killing blow over there. This is going to be quite literally an uphill charge over here, but that's not to worry at all. If we support our centre, then we can start making some greater pressure onto these retreating units, and we have completely crushed this left flank over here, which is excellent. If we get on top of that, chase them down, and make sure our archers are firing a little more efficiently over here. And protect them with our axe bands. Zhao Yun being the one-man army once again. In fact, if he deals with these archers, our cavalry can chase off the retreating units here to make sure they do shatter completely. I'll do the same over here. Looks like a pretty damn decent actually over here. All good. Just catching our units over here as they're retreating, but that's not to worry. If we start firing on the retreating units over here, make sure they shatter fully. Need to watch out for our own archers, not a problem there. Yeah, we're all good. Just make sure they're cavalry over here. There's only 8 men, they're very, very brave 8 bandit raiders over here. But we do have some decent melee cavalry, and these are, of course, lance type cavalry. Zhao Yun done very well not to take much damage whatsoever. And I think really we encircle their leaders now. Take on these bandits over here with our axemen. Bit of a loose formation, but it should all be good. Looks like the enemy is in fact shattering. And we don't really need to worry too much about chasing people down. Because of course it's a assessment battle. Or for assessment. Might need to engage once again though, to really hammer that home, to capture the assessment properly. So we'll just chase down 1 or 2, but I think really it's pretty much just the leaders left now, and certainly is, and that is absolutely brilliant. Easy victory, very minimal losses indeed. So what exactly were the results of that? They do still have quite a few men remaining, but we've killed off a leader, and of course the garrison is quite badly battered now. Again, a bit of lineage, of course. So we'll need to engage that once again. It should be quite a walkover there. I don't think we're going to employ anyone here, unfortunately. Although that charismatic is quite useful as an administrator. That is quite the question, but we're already getting another character later on. We'll release him for now and see what happens. I think we just get some replenishment here as well. Although we're quite low on the supplies. I think we actually get the recruitments there. Cost enough to actually push that on the next turn. And there we go. So, Shao and Liu Dai are actually in a coalition, which is rather interesting. Scandal at court, minus 30 satisfaction for 21 turns on Yen Tan. That is rather nasty indeed. We're going to have to start dealing with Dongzhuo when we can. Okay, so this is from our council action, whereby we were looking for a new character, and I think we have enough commanders, so we don't need to worry about that. Strategist wouldn't necessarily be bad to help out our commerce income. Tempted between that and actually a the Vanguard. I think we're going to go for a strategist. And we can actually attach that later on to Zhao Yun's army as well. And we also got a Book of Rights, which is rather interesting. 2 public order if they're in a high position there, and 8 satisfaction. So, if we look at Yen Tan over here, doesn't actually have any accessories himself. So that would be very nice indeed, especially with the lower satisfaction he's currently suffering from. I believe he is the faction heir as well, so the extra public order will certainly work quite well with him indeed. Now, do we have... Yeah, Marley Shang is the new strategist, so I think we'll set them up to begin with, if possible, as an administrator or someone to do certain abilities. Watch our settlements, so I want really to look over here, I think. Try and look for... These are more army abilities, aren't they? Okay. So I think we're going to look in this sort of direction. For now, though, we will go for... I think we're going to go for Judgment at the moment. New buildings, tool workshop in Laoshi. And that's rather nice indeed. That's helping our prestige and income, of course. We will think about our money. How has Kong Rong moved? It looks like he's going to use this bridge to get over to Pingyuan very, very quickly indeed. So we need to get over there as quickly as possible. We should be able to help us out over the next one. We do have a little bit more movement to use, so we'll get on top of the road. And over the next turn, we should be able to support Pingyuan. Kong Rong's movement should only really get him over the other side of the river. He shouldn't be able to siege down Pingyuan, but we'll see about that. But we do also have the ability to bring down Jianghua as well. I want to get a couple more units into this army, but I don't see any problems so far in contending with Kong Rong's army himself. So we'll see about that. But what we will do is finally see if we can get rid of this particular army. I think we're just going to delegate this. There's no need to drag into a massive fight there. And that is going to take the settlement for us. What is this? Just some basic armor. I think we're going to release this person again for that income, and of course secure and occupy once again. And that gives us the Path of Glory after fulfilling that mission, which is excellent. You can see the benefits there. Very, very useful indeed for 5 turns. But that should then bring round this follow-up mission to destroy Liu Bei, Cao Cao and Sun Su. That is a massive undertaking. Absolutely massive. And to be honest, not for a great payoff, if I'm completely honest. So we're going to work towards that very slowly, because those 3 powers will be quite major in themselves regardless. I think we're going to have to convert this one. I don't like being limited on food. But then again, it's not really limiting us too much, and that extra income and pop growth is quite spicy indeed. So I think what we're going to do is we'll keep this for now, and we'll watch out to open up this slot we're demolishing here at the moment. Are we on good terms with Zheng Jiang? Because she might well... Yeah, we've got a non-aggression pact. We're on good terms with her. Because I don't want that to be open too much there. Wonder if we can invite her to the coalition, actually. She's not particularly fussed about that, doesn't want to do that at all. So, I think really, we save a bit of money once again, perhaps? Or do we upgrade something down here, maybe? Go for... I think we go for some more workshops over here, and that'll do for now. And we'll see where Kong Rong ends up on our side of the river. Well, rather interestingly, Kong Rong has decided not to go for Pingyuan, quite likely because he sees our armies bearing down on him. Let's go back to Yingguan and try, I think, and... I think we go really for another Yuan administration office. For that prestige, public order, income and such. It's just such a great building. We have the title of Steward of the Changgu Palace, and that's after having an income of 3,000 or more in your turn, and that is absolutely brilliant that we've managed to get to that milestone. Very minor trait for our faction leader there. No particularly interesting characters to recruit either. So I think we are going to finally disband this retinue, free up some more income, because we don't need them just yet. And what we will do is let our faction support increase over here, source out the public order and such, and then we'll bring Zhao Yun back round to help us out down south. What can we do with these people over here though? I think we get Ma Li Shang to actually earn their worth, and we'll try and find a settlement with high commerce income for them to boost even more. So what was it? Herne is not so bad. Let's see, Liao Shi wasn't so bad, was it? It's getting there. Ping Yen is mostly industry. So I think it might be the way over there. Yo Bei Ping actually is certainly the way to go. So we're going to assign them over here. Excellent stuff. And that would get them some much needed experience. So I think what we're going to do is use Yuan Shao to try and threaten over here. Just make sure we're not on force march, because that's going to be quite the hefty mistake to use that while advancing onto the enemy properly now. That gives us some sight over here. I wonder if we can actually send an assignment to spy over here. We certainly can. I think we send Liu Dai over here to grant visibility, which is rather cheeky indeed. And of course we'll send Zhang He to properly defend Ping Yuan. We'll just sit him in the province here properly, and that can cover the bridge over here. We'll see where Kong Rong goes. Now that he's on the river, he might even decide to go down to Jiaoge in Huanei. But we'll see about that. But that's pretty much all our movement will give us for this turn. But we need to get this pressure onto Lian and Dongping Ling over here to get that trade port. And once we get that, we might actually try and vassalize Kong Rong to end that war. Because really I only want the northern province over here for that commerce income. Alright, so rather an interesting end turn here. We have a Yuan officer Yan Men. Might want to upgrade that. We certainly do. That gives us some decent prestige and public order, of course. So now that we have that, let's look at the public order once we've left over here. It is in fact increasing, so I think we're all good, to be honest. Let's force march all the way down to get rid of that out of the way. I'll just bring him down to Shindu and Enping. No more buildings constructed, character developments, no one particularly interesting. Got a farmer to use for someone for more resolve. Might have to have a look at that because that would mean more health for a general. Shinu's actually upgraded as well, and that's very useful indeed. I think we're going to go towards the extra fire arrows capability and night battles capability. Extremely important there. We're not going to give him the farmer though. Who are we going to give the farmer to? Let's have a look. Yen Shao. Do have a follower. Trade influence is too good there, unfortunately. What about over here? We get some more resolve and expertise. Just more useful there. What have we got? 2 resolve and wedge formation. 4 resolve. I'm not too bothered about wedge formation, to be honest. We go for the resolve over here with I forget his name, Yen Liang. So with the sight over this province, we can see Kong Rong is actually looking to reinforce Lian. So we're actually going to try and make some more pressure over here. We're going to cross. And I think, do we cross right now? Because that might... Will Kong Rong be able to actually guess over there? That's the question. That is the cheeky question. Because we've got to move on the assumption that he'll be able to reinforce this army if it does move for us. Looking at that, really, I don't think it's a great idea to push that, because if Kong Rong does come over here, yeah, I think we're gonna sit against a better judgment. We're gonna pull back a tad, and I think we're going to try and get an ambush off in these trees. See what happens. We can control the bridge, the ford over there, and if they do try to push it, we can ambush them, and we'll start making some progress with Zhang He over here, who I think probably should pull back himself, and we'll fill up his army a little bit over here. Get some more cavalry going. Some mounted lance militia aren't necessarily bad, but at the moment we can afford some true lance cavalry, and over here I think we're going to go for... I want this really to be a more aggressive army, so I think actually we're going to go for some more warriors of Yi over here. And that'll help against the cavalry as well. So that will be good. Only take a couple turns surely to muster, that's absolutely fine. We don't need to, we're not under pressure at the moment to push right now, are we? And of course, because we have in fact, actually see what's happened here, Hanfu, satisfaction, -25, that's rather interesting. Okay, but because we have pulled back with Yen Shao, the enemy has in fact moved all of their armies into one position over here. So I'm going to be quite happy to pull back and create another possible ambush to cover this bridge into Pingyan, where the enemy does seem to be focusing their armies, which is excellent for us. We do have a small city now in Zhongshan, which means we can convert this building over here. And I think we want really to upgrade perhaps Anping so that we can get some commerce going later on with an extra building slot. So now that we do have a fair bit of money on us, might actually want to start using it to upgrade our towns and such. Yen Yang's got the energetic trait, which is extra campaign movement range specifically for his own army, which is always very useful indeed. I think we are, however, going to push in. Despite it being winter, we need to push in as quickly as we can onto Lien over here. That will take a few turns, which is rather frustrating. I'm not going to force march though, just in case we do get caught short there. So once again, we're just going to see how Kong Rong reacts to us. Just double check where Zhao Yun is. Need him and Ping as quickly as possible, really. And it looks like we're going to be playing cat and mouse with Kong Rong down here. We'll just double check our offices over here. I think we use this empty slot over here. Maybe a tax collection just so that we can unlock some technologies for now. I think we can do that. So we can certainly sacrifice a public order. That's not going to be much of a problem whatsoever. The yen administration over here is built up, so I think we go for the more peasantry income as well over here. Not too bad at all. And I think we spend our money once again on upgrading another town perhaps, because that's not going to be too bad to use later on. Where do we want to actually upgrade though? I think when we can, we upgrade over here. What's happening in Liaoxi? Might want something to help over here. We do have the magistrates for the lineage. It's quite the choice actually over here. Don't think we'll upgrade Wei just yet, because actually no, we might as well go for it for now. We're going to have to play cat and mouse with Kong Rong though because of his current position. How are we going to move exactly though? I think we move to defend at the moment and bring Zhao Yun down again. We have to come around to Wei. It is going to take another turn though, unfortunately. We can't quite cross over here just yet, can we? We certainly can. I think, really, we'll do a bit of a save and cross over with both of our armies and try and put some pressure on and try and get to Dongping Ling over here. We'll see who needs some attention. Lady Liu has actually got a level up. I think we're going to go for... I think we go for the assignment for the minute because she's not leading an army. We can actually get another reform. So we're going to go for... What are we going to go for? Another administrator position would be useful. More income from industry would actually boost us quite a bit. Very tempted to go for a spy position, but I think really we need to get some progress on down in this tier, don't we? We can actually go for increased starting ranks and reduce mustering turns, and then later on the reduced upkeep. That's very, very tempting actually. I'd like to reduce that upkeep, and the reduced mustering turns is always useful indeed. So we're going to go for that. So, what can we do about that? Well, let's go through all of this at the moment. A trader approaches, which means we might acquire some gold. This will happen over the next turn. That's okay, rather interesting. It means we can spend a little more, but we do have rather a lot of gold in our bank at the moment. Might have to raise a quick army, in fact, to help out Zhao Yun. So, we'll send Zhao Yun over to Xindu, and I think actually we recruit someone over here, and I think we are in fact going to recruit Wen Chou finally to help out. And actually that's not too bad over here. I might want to swap out these G militia for something that does actually have a shield. So we'll go for a couple of these Vanguard, I think, the Yi Vanguard Spearmen. And that's with the enemy's crossbow units in mind. And that would be very useful indeed. He does actually have a level up available, and we're going to give him the Xie Roar to reduce enemy morale. Excellent. What we're going to do over here, though, we're certainly going to pounce on Lian. And we're going to delegate that, I think, very quickly. There's no need to fight that, I don't think. Really no need for that. There we go. Oh, losing a bit of favour, losing a fair bit of favour actually. It must be well liked by the Emperor, but he started this war, so that's what you're gonna get. We really can't move too far over here, can we? That's rather unlucky. It's rather unlucky indeed. Could have to move towards it though. Put some pressure on. No one really to recruit once again. Yen Chen gets a philanthropic trait. He's going to be rather useful indeed. Yuan Shang now has an upgrade available as well. And we're going to go for the nobility, I think, which is very useful indeed. I want to reinforce Zhao Yun as well, actually, so I think we are actually going to raise another army. And we're going to go for Yen Shang's not necessarily bad, actually. This is only going to be a reinforcing army, so we're going to go for Yen Shang. And we're going to get some captains up. And we're going to get an infantry captain, is useful. And how does that leave us there? We need to buff up our retinue here. We're going to go for some simple saber militia over here. Just 3 units will be fine. And I think we're going to go for another commander, perhaps, if possible. We're not to have reached the deployment limit for the season. That's unfortunate. So, I think we really just go for... I think really just for some more cavalry, to be honest. More saber militia to buff that up. And I think we get nothing else for that particular army for the minutes, which should be all good there. So if they move with Zhao Yun's army, it should be fine to take on Kong Rong and beat back that army there. Liu Dai is actually paying us 1,010 for our herdsmen. I'm certainly going to accept that. I don't need the herdsmen, and they're quite common, to be honest. So we're certainly going to take the 1,000 there. And probably should have seen this coming, really, but we're going to lose Lian for the minute. That's not a problem. We can regain that in the future. Did gain some lineage, though, which is rather interesting. And we have an army pushing up over here, towards Bohai. Yeah, we've lost Lian over there in Pingyuan. Not a problem. Could gain a new mount, actually. It's rather interesting. Or gain an elephant. Does disable dueling and such. I think we're going to go for a horse, which would be rather useful. We'll see how that turns out. Roll tax collector over here. Gonna ignore that for the minute. What do we actually get? A black stallion. That's rather useful indeed. And we have a clay pig, so it's not so bad. We're withdrawing from a few assignments. Zhang He now has tranquil, which increases quite a few useful things there, which is very good indeed for our army. It increases his health as well. Looks like Kong Rong is sat back, perhaps to replenish for the minute. I think what we're going to do is try and push over for this army. I think we push in this direction to cover Pingyuan. And we can push down, I think. I don't know, if we push down too far, we might be able to set up an ambush actually. Just double check the movement needed is 25%. I think we push down over here, and that does just allow us to set up an ambush, just so we get that extra movement down towards the enemy. And we're going to start sieging down Dong Pingling as well. So we'll continue to siege there. And I think we move Yan Shao back to actually take back Le Ling over here. So I did think that was Lian for some reason. That's the one we just taken from the enemy. And once we've dealt with these armies, we should be able to force a peace after taking Dongpingling as well, which is very, very useful indeed, because we now have that lovely, lovely trade port over there. So I think we'll do the one more turn and see how the enemy armies move. So at the end of that turn, we should be able to take on Kong Rong's army properly. We'll be backed up by some sort of garrison there. We have a Pine Castle and Yuan. That's all good. That increases our prestige and income. Let's double check our prestige actually, because we're on the way to becoming a duke. Still need a fair amount of prestige there. And let's see what we can do then. Start moving once again over to the Ling. Come down with Yan Shang to protect Ping Yuan. And we'll double check what the garrison will look like over here. It's fairly big actually, but all battered, and that will have very low morale. So the makeup of this army should be quite easy to deal with. A lot of spearmen and a lot of archers. Very good for our infantry to walk over once we get in, and of course our two heroes will be able to take on the enemy fairly well there. So we're going to go straight in for that, I think. Do a very quick save there. So we're going to demand surrender, and they're not going to take it, which is absolutely fine. We're going to go straight into this battle. We will take a map view, which is open. All good, let's go. Okay, so as we start this battle, we're going to try and move up to the hill right in front of us and try and make sure the enemy does move over there. We'll walk up on top of that, try and use a slope to our advantage. Looks like the enemy does want to take a defensive position into the foliage over here, the trees, the copse, and take the advantage of the hill themselves, which is going to be rather nasty because we do not have any standing cavalry apart from our two generals, and they're going to really have to pull their weight, while the enemy infantry is far inferior to our own. The crossbows will certainly deal a lot of damage, so we're going to be very aggressive. We have our shielded spears at the centre to try and soak up that fire, and we're going to come around from the flanks, hopefully from our attack-based infantry. Okay, so Zhao Yun is about to win a duel against the enemy champion, which is absolutely brilliant. He has in fact won. The enemies are retreating there. That's really going to help against their aggressing. Yuan Shao looking to perhaps get a duel against their commander, but I think we might actually want to save him and actually get another duel off with Zhao Yun if that is going to be the case. But we're certainly going to try first and get rid of this cavalry if we can. So that's really going to hurt our formation. We can probably try and get onto this hill a little more succinctly and push up a bit better there. We might be able to draw the enemy into us, which is what we're hoping for really. Let's get the Flames of the Phoenix off when the enemy comes out over here, I think, and that is pretty much now. That'll do a lot of damage to the surrounding cavalry. There we go, look at that, absolutely brilliant. Let's chase them down. Come out, because we're going to start losing some health. I think we might want to try and get a duel over here. Even though we're damaged, of course, we'll bring out Wen Shou, and of course we do have this roar over here and this binding fury attack to deal with, to work with as well. Looks like no one's unhorsing anyone. Then there we go, finally dismounted the enemy commander. I think we'll certainly be able to win that battle over there. And it looks like a lot of the enemy infantry might well be occupied, but we need to scout out there a bit better, I think. So I'll push up once we've dealt with this cavalry. And they are in fact routing. Well, at least one of them is. Yeah, okay, so there's a lot more enemy infantry than I remembered, so we're going to try and pull them out towards our own archers there and dodge the enemy fire. We're going to certainly pull around with our massive flank over here. We have some spears on either side to protect against enemy cavalry, of course. It's not becoming a problem just yet, but the Fury of Beihai has a lot of range, so we're going to have to deal with those very quickly indeed. Zhao Yun taking barely any damage, doing his job very well as a sentinel there. You can see the massive shields over here, really, really good. Even though it's on our back at the moment, which is rather interesting. And we've won that particular duel. So, I think we pull out when we can. Want to really be able to get back onto our mounts. Wait for the enemies to try and charge up that hill, of course. And I think we'll keep Wen Shou over here. And we'll try and charge up over here. Take off skirmish mode because that's not helping over here. Pull back. Guess a rear charge over here onto the enemy. Might want to help out as well over there. And I think really we just rush down the enemy archers with this flank. And focus our central archers onto this block over here. Did we get back onto our horse over here? No, we did not, but we're holding off a metric fuck ton of people over here. I want to guess off another Flames of the Phoenix actually, just to push that off, but I think we'll be fine really. Probably best not to be on our mount actually, with the amount of spears over there. How are we doing on this centre? Fire onto the archers there. Move around, guess a flank. How we're doing with our own infantry here. A bit bogged down, a bit forgotten about, but that's okay. Deal with the enemy cavalry and we'll be fine there. Still holding off loads of men over here. Looks like some spear warriors are in fact retreating, which is excellent. I think that we are going to guess off the Flames of the Phoenix, get back on our mount and push into the enemy archers a bit better there. They're just a little too quick for us actually there, aren't they? Dealt with the cavalry okay there. How are we doing on this flank? Let's get some own flanking attacks on there. Looks like we're idling by here. Let's push into this side. Archers are certainly helping out against this G militia. And there we go. Can we please get back onto our mounts? Let's get on that. Is he getting on? Are you getting on there, sir? You certainly are. Excellent. So let's get into these archers. Routed them off over here, which is excellent. So let's come round and flank round there. Excellent. I think we get our G militia onto the cavalry there and charge in with our axemen onto the enemy who's retreating here. And I think we might want to target a certain Kong Rong there. We might be able to get some massive morale shock over here. Force them to retreat, which is excellent. Get on to Kong Rong himself then. And that is absolutely amazing. Let's source out our centre over here. Yeah, we'll certainly chase those down, get some support overhead. That's all looking absolutely brilliant. Let's get some over here. We're not quite engaged, weirdly, here. Let's charge those in. Can get off another Flames of the Phoenix, I think we will do. Lovely. How do we do against Kong Rong? We should really be battering him. Can't really chase them, so we'll come back over to the centre. Come around here for now. And get our archers who are trying to chase down the enemy back over here because someone's tried to return. Get some axes over there to help out. How are we doing? Let's get back onto these archers and get onto the Fury of Beihai because they're horrible units. Can we get a hamstring over here or Binding Fury? Because that should really finish off our good man over there. Who's winning this? 55 spear guards. I think we certainly need to help us over here, don't we? Come on. Come on. Stop charging him. Just get in there. Please just get in there and hurt him. Flanking there, quite weirdly. Let's come back around here, chase off some men, and support our centre once again, I think. Should be able to just attack this lot, and that is a victory. Excellent stuff. I don't think we are going to have to chase anyone down there. I think we're all good. I think we're all good. Let's get going and claim a victory. A very nice victory indeed, if I may say so myself. No enemies remaining whatsoever. They have nowhere to retreat to, and that does mean we have recaptured our territory there. Lost a lot of Imperial favour though. That's rather worrying. I have to double check that. Even have to bribe certain someone. Even captured 500 extra gold there, which is brilliant. Killed a good few people there as well. Commander is secured. Ancillaries gained the Heavenly Sword. Ruddy bloody good indeed. And we're back in Yuan, which is absolutely brilliant. Let's get the upgrade on Zhao Yun. And go for the night battle, I think, really, because we're going to need that eventually. Always useful indeed. Don't need any of these, that's all good. On the Black Stallion on him, perhaps, later on. And that is, unfortunately, all we can do and all we have time for today, ladies and gentlemen. Very good 10 turns we got through in this video today. And we're pushing back on Kong Rong, aren't we? Let's just double check how our Imperial favour stands. We're actually still fairly high on that at 81. So it's not much to worry about at the moment. So, thank you very much for watching. That is going to be the end of the video there. Once again, thank you as ever for watching this series. I hope you are enjoying it, and please do leave your feedback in the comments section below. However, I shall see you in the future. May all of your nights and days be auspicious. Goodbye.